Hello, good morning, love wrestling. It is Thursday, March 20th. Tomorrow's the first day of spring, Drew. It is Thursday, March 20th.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
2025. We are here. Yeah, right? Isn't it March 21st every year? Or did I just completely make that up? I thought it was
right.
Yeah, right. March 21st every year is kind of like the first day of spring. Yeah. That's tomorrow, Drew. It's rainy and 40 degrees out there right now. First day of spring tomorrow. You better get out of the way today.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way today.
April showers, as they say.
Brings May flowers. We're in March, though, Drew.
When it becomes April.
It's fair. May is the best month for obvious reasons. But yes, we are here. Firmly AEW. Going to be diving into last night's Dynamite. Any things that happened on Collision that we want to talk about. But it is firmly AEW here Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We got Scott already in the chat saying good morning. Good morning, Scott. Welcome on in. Scott's saying that today is the first day of spring. Did they change the date on me? Is it today? I thought it was the 21st.
Oh, you know what? It is today. I just remembered now because I think on commentary yesterday they were mentioning because in Nebraska where Dynamite was,
there was a blizzard,
really
right?
Bad blizzard.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if it was Tony or somebody on commentary said, "Oh, for the last day of winter, it's bringing a hell of a storm," or something. So yeah, I do remember that. That was
well. There you go. I always thought it was the 21st. So there you go. Today is actually the first day. Well, it ain't acting that way outside, so it better get its stuff together. Unbelievable. Today is a big day, Drew. We got Firmly that we're going to be doing right now. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time on this very channel. I will be back with Pluggo, episode 200 of Between Two Beards. I'll obviously promote more of that later on because we're here to talk about AEW. But it's a big day here at Love Wrestling, and we're going to start it here. I mean, listen. Have you ever had nails stuck in your back, Drew?
I can thankfully say no.
They didn't run that by TBS. No way in hell they ran that spot by TBS. No, I don't think so.
I would say no if they did and said, yeah, all right, fine. Wow. Yeah. Do they have some supreme confidence in AEW?
Yeah. We're going to get into it. That is the thumbnail. That's what we're going to focus on. Oddly enough, did not main event this show last night, which was, listen. The main event was excellent. We're going to talk about the main event. They had a great main event anyway, but you would think the world title street fight would be the main event of this show, but it did not. But I have to say, Drew, why didn't they just do this match at the pay-per-view? Because this match was 10 times better than the match we saw at Revolution, in my opinion. In my opinion, this match was significantly better than the kind of match they did at Revolution. And it makes me think of, like, why didn't you just I understand, like, the three matches that preceded it and the fans were, like, flying high. But at the same time, it was like, why didn't you just do this as the main event at Revolution? I feel like that would have probably had a better reaction from the crowd there. Right?
Yeah.
I thought this was a good match.
Assume, yeah.
I thought this was a good match last night. I thought this was a good street fight. Obviously, we're going to talk about the spot because that was one of the grossest things I've ever seen. And I'm somebody that can handle my shit. That was one of the grossest things. I was sitting in this chair because I usually take my notes while I wash and I'm doing my stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. He, we'll talk about everything else, but we're talking about he pulls Spike out, and it's like, okay, if anybody's gonna take it, Mox would be the guy that would actually take it. He hits him in the stomach. He does the stomach, the hit in the stomach.
That alone made me go,
Yeah.
"Oh,"
Yeah, and then I was like, "Ooh, all right." And then you can tell
I don't know if I've ever seen that really be used before.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody's really taken it. And Mox is I'm not, we're under 10 minutes. Mox is a crazy mother. So he's gonna do it. If it's allowed for him to do it, he's gonna do it. Poor Renee, just every week, just sitting back there, just watching this shit all the time. It's unbelievable.
Last night.
She was like, is my husband's back gonna rip off? Is his back just gonna rip off? But he hits him in the stomach, and then you see Edge go up, and he's like, he's gonna hit him over the back like a chair with this, like he's gonna do it. So he does that, and at that moment for me, I was like, okay, that's enough. Like, not like enough, but I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, he actually took it. Like, that's crazy. And then Adam Copeland sets it down on the ground, and he sets him up for a suplex, and I'm like, oh, he's going to suplex him on top of that. That's going to be gnarly. That's going to be gnarly. And he suplexes him, and Mox lands directly on the thing, as you would expect, because that's who Mox is. And when he sits up, that thing is just stuck in his back. Like, it is just stuck. It sits up with him.
Yeah.
And you could hear the whole I was just like, oh, I like got up and walked out the door for a spot. I was like, oh, it's stuck in him. And I had to go walk around. But that's what I had to do. I had to go take a small little journey around the coffee table in the other room.
So Denise Salcedo, I retweeted her reaction to that last night because it was literally my reaction. I could not listen. I watch gross stuff. I've watched
the
zombie movies.
Yeah, the bump itself. Yeah, the bump itself is not even the grossest part. It's what happens after. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like I'm like this. I'm like, oh no, can't watch. No.
Yeah,
his back is gonna rip off.
Unbelievable.
I was grossed out by that. I was legitimately grossed out by that. And I'm not really like somebody that okay, I'm not gonna say I don't dislike deathmatch style wrestling, but I do not seek it out because it's just not something that I get off to like a lot of people do. Light tubes and all this crazy barbed wires, rope rings I've seen, like the ropes. I've seen that.
Oh,
I've seen just like the craziest thing imaginable. And I do not want I've always said to myself, if I had to do like one death match style of a thing ever in my life, just for that like one experience, I don't know what would be.
You can break light tubes so bad.
Maybe light tubes? Is that
because I feel like that's the easy. I feel like that's the easiest one. Right over the head. You can do light tubes over my head or over my back. Yeah, okay. Just close your eyes. You're fine. As long as you close your eyes. I would also go through glass. Like if they have like a pane of glass and they wanted to like do a superplex or something.
I'd do
that. I feel like
glass.
I would do that. No, it'd be real glass. If it's a death match, it's real glass. We don't. Come on. We don't do no soft shit around here. We don't do no soft shit around here.
No, I do not. I will do soft shit.
So
I will do soft shit.
Listen. So Dynamite last night took place from Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of a blizzard. Commentary referenced this throughout the night. They said that they were, very appreciative of all the fans that showed up. They still had a packed house, even though it was record cold, blizzarding out there.
The street fight legitimately started on the street.
And I was going to say, so obviously we're going to talk about the thumbnail first, and then we'll kind of circle back and go through the rest of Dynamite. But Adam Copeland versus Jon Moxley for the AEW title, running it back in a championship street fight. It happens at the 9 o'clock hour, so it's the halfway point of the show. And Moxley's music hits first, and we see Moxley outside the building. It looked cold. It wasn't snowing, but there was snow on the ground, and it looked very cold. And he's walking towards the inside of the arena with the briefcase, and we see Copeland. I will not call him that. Copeland. We see him show up and attack Moxley on outside the building. So this technically starts outside the building. Then they go into there was a truck right next to them. They go into the truck. They're brawling in the truck. They're, throwing each other into the truck, using the truck as a weapon, which I thought was cool. You don't see that really that often. I thought that was kind of nifty. And then they make their way through the arena, the back. I almost called him Edge. Adam Copeland hit like a hanging drop kick off a scaffolding, which was kind of a cool spot at the beginning. And then John kind of gets the one up. He kind of separates himself from Copeland. He grabs the briefcase, and then we're heading into the building. So we head into the building, and they're brawling. And then we finally get down to the ring. And by the time we get down to the ring, they're just trading blows again. Like they're just, it was that type of street fight. Like it started off not like the match at Revolution started off, but it was a lot of physical, like back and forth, elbows, forearms. They started doing that stuff before they started ramping up to what we eventually saw that we talked about right at the front.
Cope grabbed a microphone and just smashed it on his head on the timekeeper's area.
Yeah. And so they're going back and forth. At one point, Moxley hit the noise it made on the table was loud as hell, but he hits a paradigm shift on the announce table. Which looked really good. Sends Copeland to the floor. That's kind of like the big first part where they go to the break and things like that. And then it gets to the point where in the middle, John is really taking control and he's working on the neck, and commentary is leaning in on Adam Copeland's neck. I'm so good about not calling him that, but that's like the second time already that I've almost called him. And then it looks like he's setting up the chair around Copeland's neck, that he's looking to hurt the guy. And Copeland gets up. He throws the chair at Moxley's head. And they start fighting and things like that. He hits a superplex. They're going back and forth. Mox hits an ace crusher at one point. That was a good spot. And then that eventually led to what we started talking about, where Adam Copeland goes outside. He's looking under the ring for something, and he's looking for Spike. And he finds Spike. He gets in the ring. He hits John in the midsection. He hits him on the back. And then he does the suplex spot, to which the nails of Spike, literally stuck in Jon Moxley's back. I want to say hi to Johnny, who just popped in the chat. Brandon, welcome in, guys. Lawrence, welcome in as we continue to talk about this. So at this moment, Moxley gets up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moxley gets up. He's looking at the ref. He's like, this shit's stuck in my back. And Wheeler Yuta makes his way to the ring. He hits a Psycho knee on Adam Copeland right away. And then he goes over there. And then this is kind of the camera angle and the spot that kind of got everybody going, oh my God. So he goes over there. And you can tell Moxley is like, hey, we got to get this thing out of my back. Like, we got to finish this match. Like, get this thing out of my back. And Wheeler Yuta goes over there. And Wheeler Yuta is not prepared or designed to know how to properly get this out of this man's back. He is not a doctor. He is not a doctor at all.
I don't know if a doctor would even know.
There's a doctor at ringside. You got to get in there and do something, man. They have the ref and Wheeler Yuta trying to rip this out the whole time. So Wheeler Yuta gets over there. He takes a hold of Spike, And then the camera angle is they just kind of get real close. They're like, oh, we got to see what's going on. We got to see play by play what's going on here. And they zoom in. And when they zoom in, Wheeler is pulling. He's trying to get it out. And the skin, it's in there.
Oh, God.
It's in there, bro.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm going, they're going to rip off his whole back. Like
and
you
it's
can't
gonna just be shown live on camera.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't just take that out like that. You got to like work your way. You got to work that out, man. You can't just rip it. His whole back's coming off. So then
there was a large chunk of his back that was coming with that thing.
Oh yeah,
when they were pulling it,
and you could tell Moxley even told him. He was like, "Yo," they were like, "All right." He was like, "Stop it, stop that. That's not how you do it." So Wheeler Yuta then just kind of like he tries like a little, and then he stops, and you can tell he looks at the ref, and he's like, I'm not fucking doing that. I don't know. Nope. So then he starts going to do something else. He's like, I'm not fucking doing it. So he goes to do something else, and he's dealing with Copeland. And then in that moment, the ref has his gloves on. He gets in there, and the ref finally gets it out of there
without ripping his skin off. Too,
yeah, and like Mox was bleeding, but it was not nearly as bad as I thought it might have been. It was not nearly as bad.
There.
You could literally see the holes in his back. Incredible. So that happens. Disgusting. At this point, Copeland power bombs Wheeler Yuta through a table on the floor while Mox is finally getting this thing out of his back. And then it happens, Drew. We see for the first time in a while, Claudio Castagnoli comes out of the crowd, attacks Copeland. Pac is also there. They start attacking Copeland. Moxley is very slow moving in the ring, as you would expect. They are in the ring now. Pac and Claudio are working him over. They're setting him up for a concerto, but FTR comes down. They make the save. Yeah, good, huh? They come down. They make the save.
About a month almost since they stopped caring.
Yeah. So they run off Pac and Claudio. So we are back to 1-on-1. And then Copeland hits a spear to Mox through a table that was propped up in the corner. And it's like, holy crap. All right. He hits the spear. He drags him over. He gets the count. And right before the 3 count, we see Marina Shafir. She shows up. She breaks up the pinfall. She's mounting on Copeland. She's repeatedly hitting him with punches. And then Willow Nightingale makes a save. She runs in. She drops Marina Shafir with the lariat. She hits a cannonball off the apron as well, which was a very cool spot. So Copeland gets
a sweater. Didn't even take the sweater off.
Incredible. Copeland gets back up to his feet, and you're like, all right, he's withstood everything the Death Riders have had. He's had people come out and help him. Like, he's going to do this. Well, you know who we didn't take into account for? Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. They make their way to the ring. Copeland hits Kip Sabian with the spear. And while he's doing that, Nick Wayne goes up to the top rope and he hits Wayne's World on Adam Copeland. Moxley crawls over. He rolls Copeland over. He goes for a pin, but Copeland kicks out. And then immediately Moxley puts him in the bulldog choke. And the referee has to stop the fight. And the match ends. Referee stoppage. Jon Moxley with the bulldog choke retains the AEW World Championship. Now, there's some stuff that happened after this match that we need to discuss, which we will. But before we get into that, just a brutal match, man. Just a brutal match. Bonkers, I disagree. I think this was easily the best match.
I said at Revolution, it was boring.
Yeah, this was not.
This was not boring.
This was not boring.
Now, there are people, including friends of mine, who might be watching this right now, who actually thought that this was going to be the end of Copeland, was going to be the end of Moxley as champion. And to that, I already addressed that person. If he's watching, you can let me know in the chat if you're there.
What? Sunday Santa?
Yeah. But but he's probably not watching because he doesn't seem to be in a good mood with AEW right now.
It's okay.
If you expected them to retcon Revolution and put the title on Copeland last night, I don't know what to tell you because it was obvious. It was obvious what was happening here. We were just gonna get there in a creative way, but it was obvious what was happening here. This was a street fight, which means that anything goes, which means that anybody can interfere.
Correct.
And their match at Revolution was not a street fight, right?
Correct.
No, it
was not.
It was just
It
a
was
regular
just a
match.
regular match.
And this made it more interesting. You know, we got to see some really disgusting things. And
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did. Man.
But this was always for the return of the Death Riders to make sure that it wasn't going to happen. And then when it actually ended up not being the Death Riders that officially stopped Copeland from winning, then Christian's group had to get involved as well.
Yep.
While Copeland only had FTR.
Correct.
And I'm going to be honest with you, the FTR part bothered me a little bit.
That they came and helped him? Or are you talking about the stuff that happened after, which we'll get to in a second?
Both.
Okay.
I
mean, it makes sense that they would come and help him, right? Rated. Isn't it rated FTR? Weren't they like they're buddies?
If I never watched AEW before, or just watched AEW since Revolution, if Revolution was the first thing I watched and I went, oh, wow, this is interesting. Let me keep watching. I would go, who are these guys? Why are they helping him? I've never seen them together before.
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
They, back at World's End, were together, were involved. But then all of a sudden, it was like, just like with Daniel Garcia, just like with Private Party, just like with Top Flight, Dark Order, Orange Cassidy.
Yep.
Now apparently Jay White. Unless he couldn't travel to the arena because of the.
Well, I know there was like Swerve was kind of injured and couldn't get there. They did say afterwards, like Tony Khan was very complimentary and appreciative of the roster because a lot of people had trouble getting there, and they had to kind of redo the show. That's why he said the matches were longer throughout the night. The matches were longer and things like that because that helped.
Tell you,
that helped.
A lot.
The longer matches helped because there were some great fucking matches on this show last night.
The matches were phenomenal.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
And that needs to be how he books shows going forward because
I fully agree.
That was one of the better Dynamites of the year.
Yep.
To be honest with you.
I fully agree. From a wrestling standpoint, no question. No question. Like not even close.
Let's go back to more wrestling and less talking. That's actually kind of nice. Yeah. I like it. I see that enough on Mondays and Fridays.
I agree. I would very much enjoy that.
So I was very happy to see what this show ended up being because I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, including this match that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
But also that's because I knew what to expect going in.
Yeah, I mean, I
didn't.
I don't know what people were. I don't know what people were expecting. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, if you think that it's not a bad thing that you thought that Edge Copeland would win that. However, like, if you're upset that the Death Riders did what the Death Riders have been doing for 6 months, then that's not AEW's fault. Like, they've shown you what the Death Riders do literally every time. So
Exactly.
why are you upset when they do what they do every time? Well, we got a super chat here from Brandon
Oh.
James. Thank you. If you do want your comment, question, or anything shown on the screen, guaranteed you do what our pal Brandon just did here. And you do a super chat. And he says, why? I think he means like, why would Nick Wayne help Moxley? It doesn't make, I think that's supposed to mean like why
That
do
doesn't
we
make sense.
think, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why do we think Nick Wayne?
Um,
Because Nick Wayne last week was at odds with Christian a little bit. They had a little bit of a disagreement. But
yeah.
now it looks like, and again, I don't even know why, because Copeland really had nothing to do with Christian losing that match. Like
I'm
Copeland was,
gonna
you
assume
know, I mean, obviously, yeah,
the storm prevented Christian from being able to be on the show. I feel like maybe Christian would have been the one to do that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and they had and Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian were able to get there.
yeah.
So they were like, all right, because it didn't. I do understand what Brandon is saying, because for Nick Wayne to really do anything after what happened the last time we saw them all on screen together,
Mm-hmm.
and seemingly, well, I would say it is at the direction of Christian,
Yeah.
but Christian is usually there barking orders and doing all that stuff. So it did look strange for Christian to not be there.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Wayne's mom was there, but uh, because they had the shot of them, the
Of the
three of
three
them
of
on
them,
the
yeah.
stage.
It looked like she was running the show, like for that evening.
So yeah, so I'm assuming that it would have been Christian, or was supposed to be Christian, but because of the storm, he wasn't able to make it there.
That's what I would think. We have Scott saying that he thinks Christian had no idea that Nick and Kip was going to go help Moxley and the Death Riders. That's what he's betting on. We'll
Oh,
see. I think there's a way they can play into it, because obviously, like we said last week, Christian and Nick Wayne were not agreeing on things, and Sabian was kind of giving some eye rolls and side looks and things of that nature. So we'll have to see where they go. But
well,
Moxley
they had that
retains.
whole, nose to nose moment the other
Yes,
time.
yes. Moxley retains with help of the Death Riders and the patriarchy. So we'll have to see what happens there. But that's not all that Copeland had to deal with, because after the match, he's in the ring and he's recovering from, a brutal street fight and things like that. Willow's in there with him. FTR's in there with him. And Dax, so Cash is kind of on one knee next to Copeland, kind of consoling him. Not consoling him, but you know what I mean? Like kind of making sure he's all right, checking in on him. Willow is kind of down on a knee to the right, kind of looking in. And Dax is standing up kind of in front of a seated Copeland. And he's frustrated. And you would think that he's frustrated because the Death Riders did this shit again. That's the vibe you get, is like, he's pissed off. The Death Riders, fucking, they got the one up again. They did all shit like that. Crowd starting to chant for Copeland. They're kind of giving him his, respect for the match and things of that nature. He reaches up to Dax for Dax to pull him up. And Dax just kind of stares at it. And he like angrily like goes like, whatever. And he just leaves. And Cash gets up. He's like, what the hell is this? Willow's like, what the hell is this? And Dax just angrily walks to the back. Cash kind of, gives Copeland a thing. He goes, I'm going to go after him. Cash runs after him. And then Copeland kind of gets to his feet, and the crowd gives him kind of his flowers, his respect with Willow as he slowly
Yeah, the guy who didn't
leaves.
get the nails in his back.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, you got to be honest with it. I don't know how long his contract is. That could be the last time Omaha, Nebraska ever sees Adam Copeland.
That's true.
So
yeah,
I feel like that's kind of, you know what I mean? But yeah, so now we have this added intrigue now that at least one half of FTR, who are the who are the buddies of Adam Copeland, he seems to be not thrilled about what happened. So now we can lean in to see kind of what goes on there with FTR. I'm very confused how this goes, because obviously Cash was shocked by it. So does this create a rift inside
so I actually
FTR?
in the in the moment, I actually thought the turn was happening there.
Both of them.
Because Dax is in front and Cash is behind, and I saw like a look that
Yeah. Yeah.
Cash like looks up at Dax at one point, and it looked like frustration, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, is it going to happen right now?"
Mm.
Like that maybe. And I didn't think that Willow would be involved, but her being in the ring made me go, I don't know if that's going to happen then if Willow's there.
Yeah.
But so the reason why I was like not interested in this is because I just kind of don't care about FTR's characters right now. It just I
Well, they
have
haven't been on, at
no.
least in my opinion, they haven't been on TV a
Oh, they
ton.
were on Collision, I
They've been
think, a
on,
couple weeks ago.
yeah. Yeah.
It's just like what? Why? I've been railing against the whole people just deciding to stop caring about
Yeah.
this whole thing, and then
Mhm.
they just magically reappear to then do that spot afterwards. He
Yeah.
If anybody should have been doing that, it should have been Copeland doing that to them. Being like, "Where the fuck have you been, pals, for the past month? Where were you at Revolution? Where have you been when they've been
Well,
attacking me?"
yeah. Revolution, I think, is a pass because, God damn it, I almost did it again. Because Adam Copeland said that he wanted it to be one-on-one. So I feel like Revolution was a pass. But everything leading up to Revolution, like, where you been, guys? You're supposed to be my best friends. The only friends I apparently have around here.
Yeah. It should
Where
have
are
been
you?
him rejecting Dax trying to help
Yes.
him up. That's what it
Yes.
should have been.
Yes.
Uh,
100%. 100%.
so I don't know where this is going. Right now, I kind of don't care. They can try something here, but I've been very disappointed in the angle when it comes to everyone that cared originally and then just go peace out, bye, and
Mm.
then don't care anymore. So
Do we think, I don't know how they get there, but this has a vibe to me that we're going to be getting FTR versus Edge and Christian. I feel like eventually
possible.
that's the big tag match that we're built all in Texas.
Mm,
I feel like all in Texas we're heading towards FTR versus Adam Copeland and Christian. Somehow we're getting there. But I do feel like we
right
are
now, it would
getting,
look like FTR are the heels.
and I think that again, obviously we have to see what happens with this Nick Wayne Kip Sabian thing because they obviously helped Copeland lose this match, and you would assume that they did that because Christian told them to do that. You would assume.
Right.
So we have to see how that plays out.
So maybe Scott was right
That's what I'm
before.
saying. Maybe Christian tells Edge, "Hey, I know we have a past here, but I'm telling you, I did not tell them to do that. I wasn't even here. I did not tell them to do that. They did that against my wishes. Blah blah blah. Maybe, I don't know. But I do feel like, Johnny, that'd be a good one too. Heel FTR going after the tag titles with the Hurt Syndicate, who are
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of fringy, kind of good guy, bad guy, like in the middle. That'd be a great one. I don't know. I just get a vibe that Edge and Christian versus FTR is going to happen at some point. I feel like heel FTR versus a reunited Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. I feel like that could be a big match that happens at some point this year. I don't know how you get there from what we saw last night with the patriarchy like going against Copeland like that, but I do think that is a way they can go. I do think that is
And
a
I
way
mean,
they can go.
so the Hurt Syndicate have been champions for like when? When did they win? They won them at
2 pay-per-views ago.
World's End.
Yes. Yeah, end of the year. Yeah. Yeah. I think
Been
so.
that long already?
Something like that. Well, they defended
okay.
against the Outrunners. Then they had, who'd they defend with the pay-per-view before? Did they win them at the pay-per-view before?
I think so.
Because there wasn't, what
Or
was
was it
the,
on TV?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. I don't remember what the hell happened on the show last week. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. You can't ask me what happened more than 2 weeks ago. I don't know. It's all a void. I know the matches that happened, but they could have happened 8 months ago. It could have happened 2 weeks ago. There's no difference to me. I have no idea. But I want to say they won the titles, and then they at the pay-per-view 2 pay-per-views ago. Oh no, the titles were won on TV. Johnny said, "There you go." So they want them to end at Dynamite. Either way, you got to stop asking questions like that.
January 22nd.
Okay, so then they've only had them for a little under 2 months. They've been the champs. So, yeah, I don't know. Because what do we got? We got Dynasty happening in what, 2.5 weeks? April 6th, right? Or April 9th, one of those. We have Dynasty happening in 2.5 weeks. Do we know who the Hurt Syndicate is lined up to face for those titles? Do we have that yet? I know the Murder Machines have been kind of in the background a little bit. They've just beat the Outrunners. So I feel like I don't know where we're heading with them, because MVP's obviously doing the Max
Dynasty
stuff
is
now.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Dynasty's in 2 weeks. You would assume they're going to have a tag title match at that show. Maybe it is just another kind of throwaway tag title defense and they face the Murder Machines. Maybe. But I don't really know where we're heading when it comes to what they're doing. But at the same time, it is what it is, right? We'll have to kind of see where they go, because they weren't on the show last night either. They were, but not like on the show. They had like a little vignette for them.
Right.
But I wanted to lean in. We're going to start going through Dynamite in chronological order the rest of the way, besides that world title match. But we do need to talk a little bit, because the last time we saw MVP didn't really have anything to do with the Hurt Syndicate. It had to do with MJF potentially
right,
lining up with him. So here we go. The show started off, Drew, with one hell of a 4-way match.
Oh my God.
Fantastic. Fantastic match.
This match ruled.
Yeah. It was Mark Davis versus Speedball Mike Bailey versus Orange Cassidy versus Ricochet. Morning, Spencer. How we doing, friend?
Good
Welcome
morning,
in.
Sir.
We already discussed the street fight, and we are heading into the chronological start of the show. So this 4-way, the winner will be heading to Dynasty to face Kenny Omega for the AEW International Championship. And I'm going to tell you, all 4 of these guys were tremendous in this match. Let me tell you, Mark Davis.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Mark Davis was awesome. In this match. He was clearly the guy with the biggest size. He's a big boy. He's in there with 3 smaller, more niftier guys. He was the power of the match, and I thought that he and they did a fantastic job of making him be the power in this match. He was manhandling these 3 guys.
Yeah.
For a lot of this match, and he just looked fucking awesome. And I thought, if you're going to really go with him as a singles guy, I thought that this match did him a world of favors. Because I thought you can make an argument that even though he was not the winner of this match, you can make an argument that he looked the best throughout this whole match of any of these 4 guys, that he consistently looked like the best guy in the match, the way that they made him look.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. I agree.
He looked incredible in this match. It was an impressive showing to me from Mark. All 4 of these guys ruled, but we kind of know what to expect from. I know Speedball just got to AEW, but I kind of know what to expect from the other 3 guys. I know they're going to,
I will say I do have to shine a special spotlight on Ricochet in this match, because
he's your binky. You're going to shine a thing on him no matter what he does. I'm just saying.
Wow. Look whose mind's in the gutter now.
I'm just listen.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
No, I just said you just like Ricochet, so obviously you're going to put him over. He's your boy. I didn't say anything about his looks. That's what you automatically went to, because that's who you are.
Excuse me.
I'm
I
just
am
saying.
not generally all the time like
It's okay.
that.
Look at it. It's
Anyway,
okay. He's a handsome guy. It's all right.
anyway, what I think was one of the best things about this match
Yes.
was him really leaning into this new character of his.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole match was, oh, I know I'm like the big flippy guy and I do all the cool moves and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but actually, screw you all. I'm just gonna bide my time and I'm gonna wait to slither into the ring and pin somebody and take advantage of distractions and whatever. And that's what he did this throughout the match. He's in the ring, he's in the ring, he's out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Mark Davis did a move to, I think, Speedball, and then like slowly like crawls into the ring to try and take a pin and steal the victory. And then Mark Davis turns around and he's just like, "Oh, nope, never mind." He just slides out. And multiple, I mean, including the finish of the match.
Yes.
Every move and every opportunity Ricochet took advantage of was purposeful,
Mm-hmm.
was to put minimal damage on him to steal the victory and get the contendership for the international title.
I
And
agree.
that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I loved that. So that's like him owning this heel character now. And that's exactly what he needed to do. And it was excellent. And legitimately everyone at one point, especially in that last 5 minutes, everyone had a pinfall chance,
Mm-hmm.
and you could have made the case that that person was going to win.
100%.
Mark, Kyle, Mark, and Speedball, and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It really was like, oh, Orange Cassidy might win here. Oh, Ricochet might win here. Mark Davis, Speedball, anyone, because that's how that last 5 minutes of this match was.
Incredible.
I think the best part of the show.
It was very good. It was very, very good. It was back and forth. I loved, I know you just put Ricochet over. I'm going to put him on. I love the commentary bit with him where
Oh
he
yeah,
just like I was leaning against the barricade, just had a thing on, just like, yeah, I'm gonna take my time. And you can hear the referee and he's like, shut up, Bryce. Like he's yelling at the ref. I know I got to get it. Shut up. Like he's like, I just thought it was very good. It was very good. I know I rag on you about Ricochet, but we've talked about it weekly. Like he's just, I think I talk about it every week because every week, even though he's been killing it for a while now, and I know he's good, it just shocks me how good he is at the character work because he was never allowed to fucking be one for a decade.
I know.
And so now that I see him actually being a character and just continually being great at it and getting better at it, I'm like, what the fuck were we doing with this guy? What were we doing? But either way. So can I tell you, Drew, that even though I love this match, hated the end. Did
You
not like
hated
it.
that?
Did not like it.
That was amazing. That ending.
I like the way it happened, but to me, okay. So this is to go to Dynasty, right? To face Kenny Omega.
Right.
Speedball Mike Bailey hits the power bomb, right? Like a back. It was like a backslide. Was it a? He did it from the corner, or was it just a regular backslide? He did it like off the corner, right?
He did it
Kind of.
off the corner. Yeah, I believe
It wasn't
so.
a power bomb, but it was like a backslide almost, like off the corner.
Yeah.
Bailey. So he hits that, and he's pinning Mark Davis. Bryce Remsburg, who's the ref, is down for the count. And then Ricochet gets in. He also pins Mark Davis, which I liked. I like this part of it. So he gets in, but he puts his feet on the rope to cheat. And the 3 count happens. And Bryce Remsburg says, oh, well, they both pinned him. So at Dynasty, they're both just going to face Kenny Omega in a triple threat match. Now, listen to me. I am not here complaining about a triple threat match between Ricochet, Kenny Omega, and Speedball Mike Bailey. That match is going to be fucking insane. All right. What I am complaining about is watch the replay, see Ricochet cheating, and say, Ricochet, get the fuck out of here. You do not get to go. The dynasty's not for 2 weeks, man. If the ref didn't see it, you look at the... No, Ricochet should be disqualified from going to Dynasty. At the very least, there should be a one-on-one match now between Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. And the winner of that goes to face Kenny Omega. Why are we rewarding Ricochet for cheating when there's video footage everywhere? If the referee didn't see it, there is video footage.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like wrestling 101, isn't it?
I don't
There's
like
always video footage with the referees.
That part of it I didn't. That part of it I didn't like. That part of it I didn't like. And Scott, listen. I just disagree. In a 4-way match, you can easily have both of them lose or one of them lose. Mike Bailey could have pinned Mark Davis. Ricochet had nothing to do with it. That does not hurt Ricochet at all. That does not hurt Ricochet at all. So I guess if you're talking like the one-on-one between Bailey and Ricochet, that I understand. I don't know. I just was like, hey, look, am I thrilled we're getting this triple threat match? Absolutely. It's going to be great. It'll probably be the match of the night at Dynasty, I would think, with those 3 guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, Ricochet cheated. Like, if you didn't see what was going on, like, there should be someone that says, no, Ricochet cheated. Ricochet cheated. So he's not going. It's Bailey. Bailey's going. I just was like, now we have 2.5 weeks before the match where there's going to be plenty of time for everybody to see that Ricochet cheated to get into this match. Why are we allowing him to still be in this match? That's the part of it I didn't get. And this time, maybe they change it. That not so much what happened in the moment last night, Drew, but like, it's not like the match is next week. You know what I mean? Like, we have a couple weeks to the match. Like, everybody is going to that Ricochet clearly cheated to get that pin. His feet were on the ropes. You can clearly see. I don't know. That part of it was kind of like,
I didn't really think about it this way. I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have no problems with it because I think that just makes the match at Dynasty even better. That
both
Speedball and Ricochet are there. But I do get like, they could, it's because they did it 2 weeks before the pay-per-view and not the week of, they could have been like, oh, well, you know what? We need to keep the title match one-on-one. So next week, Speedball and Ricochet face off. But then it's kind of like, then I also think, well, that's also kind of unfair to
Speedball.
Mark. And no, I think it's also, well, not only is it unfair to Speedball, but it's also unfair to Orange Cassidy and Mark Davis. Because you can even argue that Ricochet had to use the ropes, because if he did not use the ropes, Mark Davis was going to kick out of Speedball's pinfall.
Maybe. I don't care.
So...
But he cheated. That's it.
Yeah, he cheated.
Yeah.
And it's not doing it the whole
okay, but
match
we have almost 3 weeks. And I just, I don't know. That part of it.
God also brings up a good question. Are there regular rules in a 4-way match?
That might be true. I don't know. Maybe there aren't. I mean, in a 3-way match, there aren't technically, right?
I don't believe so.
Maybe if we're looking at it that way and it was a 4-way match and there's no rules, then maybe it did. I don't know. I just was like, wait a minute. I was like, Ricochet just fucking cheated. The referee's like, I didn't see it. I didn't. He's like, whatever. And it's like, just look at the fucking replay, buddy. In every sport ever now, there's a replay mission. Just look at the replay. I don't know. It was weird. But either way, that triple threat match is going to hump. And let me tell you, I tweeted about it. Speedball Mike Bailey. That guy.
Oh,
that guy is going to be a star.
I am a fan.
Already won. He's going to win over every single crowd that he is in front of, like he won over that crowd last night. That crowd was excited to see him from the jump, but at that sequence in the match when they let him do those jumping kicks and all his stuff right there, that crowd was chanting Speedball. That crowd was going nuts for Speedball Mike Bailey, and that's going to be every crowd he's in front of. Every crowd he's in front of, that's going to happen. That guy is going to be a massive star for that company. Good shit. Good shit with Speedball. Maybe I'm just angry because I want the Speedball Kenny one-on-one match. I don't know.
I'm confused about the foot thing. Number one, I don't need to see anybody's feet. That's number one. Number two.
You mean like wrestling without boots?
Yeah, that's
always been. He's a martial artist guy. He's a kicker.
That was his. Okay, so he's doing the martial artist.
Yeah. He's a striker, I would say, with his feet. Feet of magic. You could say.
Sure.
But that's always been his getup. Remember, like Rusev used to do the feet. Matt Riddle obviously wrestled in bare feet. Speedballs wrestled in bare feet.
If I were, I would never want my.
I would be afraid that my feet would get stepped on. That's what I would be afraid of. I'd be afraid that my feet would get stepped on a lot by like the dudes in the boots, and I'd be like, "That hurt."
Yeah,
that hurt.
Oh yeah, now my toe is broken.
Yeah, like that. I would be more worried about that. But yeah, man, he's a special guy. Speedball's a special guy. Yeah, there you go. So Lawrence he trained in Taekwondo. So that's kind of, I knew it was a martial arts. I don't want to say the wrong one. I know.
I mean, he does the the thing.
Yeah. So it's a very martial arty. Yeah. So
it's actually it's a really, really awesome character.
Yeah.
It should be like what every kid in the crowd just falls in love with immediately.
And I think that's real. I think that's a part of it that he's going to be well liked by everybody. But that part of it, like, I think like, and the way they're presenting him with the colorful outfits and the big, blue background with Speedball, and like, it's a very colorful, and he's a colorful guy. I feel like the kids are really gonna, like, they should be selling his headband. They should be selling like all sorts, like the kids are gonna fucking eat that shit up. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. Well, when we get to the match, I'll talk about it.
Yeah. You know what else was really good, Drew? This was my favorite match of the evening.
I think we're gonna.
It was for the AEW TBS Championship.
Yes, it was. It had nothing to do with the match.
No, it was Mercedes Mone.
It has nothing to do with the match. So go on.
My girl, Billie Starkz. I had said it a couple weeks ago when they cross each other in the back. I said Athena versus Mercedes is coming, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, it is.
And I said, but I hope along the way we get Mercedes versus Billie, because that will be fun. And guess what, Drew? We got it last night.
We did.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Billie Starkz is another one. Future megastar in AEW. Billie Starkz. She's like 19 years old, man. She's like 19 years old. This match was excellent. I thought they did a really good job of showcasing Billie Starkz in this match. She got a lot of offense against Mercedes, and they made her look like
move. Yep. And that move towards the end, that was Mercedes' move, but that was like, ooh, my God.
Yeah. Just a really, really good match between Billie and Mercedes. It was for the AEW TBS Championship, so you should have known how the match was going to end. I don't think any of us were thinking that Billie Starkz was going to beat Mercedes for that title. However, really, really good back and forth battle. They made Billie Starkz look like a legitimate contender against Mercedes, and that's what you want, because this girl's going to be fighting for world titles for a long, long time. And towards the end of that match, the electric chair driver that Billie Starkz hit on Mercedes was gnarly looking, but a foot on the rope by Mercedes. And then the senton to the apron that she missed, also gnarly looking. That's kind of a staple of Billie Starkz. She misses that in big spots in her matches. And then there was a crucifix pin that Billie kicked out of, and then it went right into the crossface, and Billie had to tap out. The sequence there?
That move rules, and that is what Mercedes should be using to finish all her matches now.
I agree.
That looked so good.
I agree. So she wins by the statement maker. Billie taps out. Mercedes retains the AEW TBS championship, and she didn't let go of the hold until the referee she kept that on there a little bit too long, but the referee kind of said, hey, get off, and that was it. So fantastic match. We had two really great women's matches on this show. The second one we'll talk about, but we had two really, really great women's matches on this show, and this was the first one, and I was so happy we got it because Billie Starkz is special. And obviously Mercedes is, but we talk about her glowingly all the time. But Billie Starkz is a special, special wrestler and a special talent. And I'm glad she got that match on Dynamite and they really showcased what she can do because she is the future of the AEW women's division, like the top of it.
Agreed. Absolutely. This was very, very good. And the Mercedes doubters need to stop it.
You just got to stop, man.
Stop it.
You just make yourself look like fools more and more every week.
Now, I have to say something. And I need somebody to clip this and send it to Tony Khan directly.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Tony, you have to stop letting your people come into this building, the people who pay tickets and come to this building. You have to stop letting them bring WWE merchandise. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you didn't hear those 3 or 4 kids repeatedly just calling Adam Copeland Edge when he went to the outside?
That you fucking call him Edge.
I know. I know.
It's which infuriates me sometimes, but I'm just like, you know what? Fine. Whatever. I get over it. At one point, and I don't recall seeing it after this match, so maybe someone got to this guy and said, you better not do that again, pal. But
I don't even know what
this match was over.
I don't even know what the hell you're even referring to be honest with you.
The fact that you didn't even see it is shocking because it was blatantly there.
Yeah. If the match was over, I wasn't paying attention anymore, to be honest.
Okay. So that's all right. So Mercedes, the referee is handing Mercedes her title. And she raises that title up in the air. And what do you see? Right behind her.
This is on the outside.
As she raises the title, is some dumbass 3rd row ringside hard cam holding up a red Universal Championship with a big fat ass fucking WWE logo right in front of the camera, clear as day, and that guy was being a dick. So I feel like I don't recall seeing it after this, so probably somebody did say something to him. She would raise the title, and he'd raise the title, and then she raised the title again. He rose. It's like, okay, somebody get that guy the fuck out of there because that is ridiculous. The amount of WWE, and now I'm sounding it's ironic because I found myself on an AEW incel list today.
You sound like
ironic
one right now.
that I sound like one right now. I know, but
I feel like this is a very, very minor thing to be complaining about. To be honest,
no, it's not. It's not a minor thing to be complaining about because the image of Mercedes after a hard-fought match, raising up the TBS title on AEW programming, an AEW title, and then in the background, you see some big-ass WWE logo.
You can edit it up.
It looks stupid.
Yeah, but you can edit it up.
No, you can't.
I can take a picture. I can take a picture on my phone of my desk right now, and I can go into my edited pictures and remove things from the photo.
You can't edit out a live show.
Not a live show, but who cares? You can edit out. You can edit out the picture. And
let me. Tell me. When did you? When have you seen AEW merchandise on a WWE show?
Listen, that's because AEW is terrible at making merchandise. If you want me to be honest with you.
No,
but like
it's because when somebody shows up with AEW merchandise, they go, not happening, and AEW needs to do the same damn thing.
Is AEW in a spot right now where you want to be chastising fans when you have hard times getting fans into the building? Are you at a spot right now where you want to do that?
I would say yes.
Should they have gone?
It should have been done a long time ago. Long time ago.
Again, they are. I think going to smaller buildings and all the stuff they've done over the last 3 to 5 months has been a very big positive for them, and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, what they should have done is they should have been more on top. And again, I didn't even notice it. So if I didn't notice it,
well, you weren't paying attention when it happened. That's why you didn't notice it.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I guess, like, again, things like that don't seem to bother me either. I think if you're bringing a belt to a wrestling event, you're a loser anyway. Sorry, don't want to offend anybody, but if you're like over the age of 12, keep the fucking belts in your garage on the wall, you bum. But anyway, if you're a grown ass person bringing a belt like that, you didn't earn that, bro. Keep it at home. So that's how I feel about grown-ups bringing full belts to wrestling shows anyway. But at the same time, the guy paid money to be there. If he wants to do now, should AEW be more? You said the guy was being a dick all night. Is that what you said? That he was like noticeable to you throughout the night, or was it specifically during this match?
I noticed it in the first match, and I noticed it in this match, but I did not notice it after this match. So I feel like someone had to have gone to him and was like, do not raise that title again. You're on hard cam.
Maybe.
And that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that is,
if anything,
and listen, the thing is, this isn't one-sided for me. I am fine with WWE doing that with AEW merch, because this is WWE. What the fuck are you doing coming to WWE with AEW merch? Just like I say, what the fuck are you doing going to AEW with WWE merch?
They weren't kicking people out with Austin 316 shirts at WCW
Night. Just tell them, don't, you can't bring this in with you.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing though. Like, there were NWO shirts in the crowd during Raw in the Attitude Era. They weren't kicking people with NWO shirts out of the show. I just feel like you go down a slippery. Now, again, if the guy's getting on camera, go over to him and be like, hey, next time you do that, you're out of here. Keep the belt, whatever. You can say that to him, but I think preventing them from bringing that into the building, or preventing them from coming into the building if they have it, I think you're going down. I don't think AEW needs to be having bad press with their fans currently.
They were, I think, bad press. The fact of the matter is, AEW is always going to have bad press about something, because that's what happens.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. No,
like, I don't agree with you. I think it should be set. A precedent should be set. You do not bring a fucking WWE gigantic ass logo title to my show. You don't do it. I am fine with that. I am fine with WWE doing it with AEW, and I would be fine with AEW doing it for WWE. It's ridiculous to me when I go to AEW shows and I see old school WWE titles and WWE merch, and then these people are sitting where the camera is,
which they paid a lot of money to do.
It's legitimately stupid to me.
Okay,
I think that guy is stupid, and anybody that does it is stupid.
Well, he brought a title to a show, so I agree with you at that aspect of it.
Yeah, but at least bring the fucking AEW title.
Maybe if it wasn't $700, maybe if it wasn't $700, he would.
Title.
If it wasn't $700 or $800, maybe he would.
You can get a cheap one. I've got one in my drawer right now. I didn't pay full price for it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I personally,
to me, it's stupid, and I think anybody that does that is stupid. And I am 100%. Again, I hope somebody clipped this and said it to Tony Khan. I am 100% on board. You do not allow that shit in your arena every week. It is ridiculous to me. It's insane that was even allowed to be brought into when you go to these shows, especially if you're in a camera area, there are security guards that are posted. If you have a sign, they want to see what your sign says, and they have to read that sign. When you walk to the ticket person that's looking to make sure that you're on the floor.
But those people work for the arena. They don't work for AEW. That security guy doesn't work for he works for the arena. He doesn't give a shit about anything.
There is no reason why somebody at AEW cannot go, all right, guys, there's another company with a big ass W on it. We do not allow the merchandise of this to be here. And then the security goes, okay. I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable. It's just a perfectly reasonable thing for them to do.
Yeah, I just think wasting 10 minutes of it on our show is just not necessary.
It has been bothering me for years.
Okay.
For years.
Okay. Apparently, it really has, because it's really not that important at all about anything that we're watching. But to each their own.
If you were Tony Khan,
I don't.
You would allow that?
Did you pay money to get into my building? That's all I care about. That's all I care about. You paid money to get in.
It's just about making money.
Yes,
it's not just about making money.
But it is. It is. For a guy like that, yes, it is. Yes.
All right. So every single person ringside can hold up a universal title when Mercedes raises up the TBS championship, and you're like, oh, I made that money.
Hey,
yep, that looks great on camera.
You paid me multiples, hundreds of dollars to sit in that seat. Yes, if I feel like, again, he's not letting them. You said it seemed like somebody went over and said something to the guy, so he did his job. If the guy stopped doing it, that means that somebody went over there and got the point across. It happened. But at the end of the day, to be that, he's a fan. He paid a lot of money to get there. If you're not gonna dictate it, security and Tony, until after something like that happened, that's on you. That's on you. I have no problem.
My husband just texted me, "Oh my God, you're screaming."
Yeah,
I have to.
Again. Yeah, so for me, I don't give a shit about other people. No offense. I have friends I don't. When I go to a wrestling show, I don't even want to look at anybody else in the arena. I don't care about you at all. I am there to enjoy the show. You want to hold up a belt and look like a fucking idiot? Do it. That's on you, brother. I don't want anything to do with you. So it's just like, maybe it's because I just don't pay attention to. That's why I stopped paying attention. Like when they go, I do not care. I do not care about anybody else in that building at all.
Listen, I don't care about anybody else in the building, but when I blatantly see a shiny WWE title on an AEW show,
yeah, it's been happening since day one there. So I went to the second ever Dynamite and I sat next to a guy that was in a John Cena wrestling gear on the second ever Dynamite in Boston. The guy sitting next to me was literally in full John Cena apparel. And I was just like, okay, it's just like,
I would be like, all right, this is kind of dumb, but whatever.
Yeah. He was a grown up. So I assumed he was either dumb or, something else. So we had after that. All right. Was that it? Are we done? Do you have to have any more diatribes about how fans act?
I'm fine.
Your husband need to tell you to quiet down some more. Listen, sometimes we got to get stuff off our chest, Drew. It's okay. It's okay. I support you. Nobody should be bringing belts to wrestling events because you're grown-ups. But anyway, that's like the other day I was talking about baseball, and I was in a chat with somebody, and this guy just said, hey, what kind of glove should I bring to the game? I'm going on opening day. I said, what kind of glove? He goes, what kind of glove should I bring? And I said, are you going with, I'm like, do you have kids? Are you going with your kids? And he was like, no. And I was like, how old are you? And he was like, I'm 26. I'm like, you shouldn't be bringing a glove then at all. You're a grown-up. You use your fucking hands. Anyway. Don't know what to tell you. If you're over the age of 14,
they don't want to.
Then guess what? Don't try to catch a foul ball then. You stay in your seat. Stay in your seat. I'm just like, what? You're a grown person. If you're not there with a kid, you're not bringing a glove. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. What are you, a teenager? Anyway, let's move on. We come back from commercial.
Might be the biggest rant I've ever done on this show.
Yeah. And it wasn't about literally anything wrestling related at all. Not even about anything wrestling related. All the things that we've complained about.
Oh my God.
in either one of our shows, all the things that we haven't jived with, we haven't complained about, your biggest rant is about some schmuck who you're never going to see ever again holding up a title for 2 seconds. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. God, Drew. Anyway, we come back. We get they show a recap of what happened between MJF and MVP a week before. And we get an interview, a promo backstage with MJF. I assume this was not live. But he says that everybody's been talking about who's going to win the race to be the new AEW world champion. He goes through each name. He mentions Copeland. He mentions Jay White. He mentions a few others. And then he goes, and then there's the Cowboy. And when he says the Cowboy, he goes, he kind of leans in a little bit. He goes, but if you ask anybody or you ask me, I'm the only horse you should be betting on. I'm the stallion around here. He's looking at the MVP business card. He says it's got him thinking about the title being held hostage, he said, by Jon Moxley. And he goes, and it's becoming clear to me that if I want another shot at the title, I might just have to have a click of my own. He goes, but the last time I trusted someone, I got burned pretty bad. Obviously referring to the Adam Cole situation. And he says, MVP, I'll have an answer for you next week, but for now, the time for daddy crying over spilled milk is over. He goes, the time for me smiling over pop champagne is now. So it seems like, he called him Dictator John. That's what he called him. That was a good line. Dictator John. So it seems like whiny crying over spilled milk, as he referred to MJF, is gone. And it's time, eye on the prize, going for championships again, full force. MJF is here. And he's going to have a list of guys to go through, Hangman being at the forefront of it. Because you got Ospreay. He mentioned Ospreay as well, who's been eyeing the title at All In Texas. He's entered the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. And now you have MJF saying that he's going for it. Now, MJF didn't. All right. So later on in the evening, Renee Paquette is talking with Hangman. And Hangman says that he is entering the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. So he is entering the tournament. So him and Will Ospreay, two huge names, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. They are both in the tournament. Now we get this promo, which I agree, Fernando, was a very excellent promo by MJF. I like when MJF gets serious. I think he's at his best when he's serious, but still MJF. You know what I mean? Not too over the top funny. Like when he's kind of like, I'm going to be MJF, but I'm serious about this. That's him at his best, especially when he's talking, in my opinion. Do we think MJF will join the Owen? Because it seems like Ospreay wants the world title. He's volunteered for the Owen. Hangman wants the world title. He's entered the Owen. MJF in this promo was talking about how he wants the world title. He hasn't yet, though. It would be very against. That. I do too. It'd be very against MJF. How MJF would operate is he would wait for somebody to get the belt away from Dictator John, and then he would pounce. That is how MJF would do his bidding, right? I would think he would wait for all this to play out.
Owen, he's never been in the Owen before?
No.
I don't know if has Hangman ever been in the Owen?
I would not remember. Maybe they've done what? Have they done it twice? They've done 2 Owens, right?
Oh, no, he was in it last year because of the Jeff Jarrett thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait, was that?
That was the Owen? Yeah, that was the Owen. Yeah, he came back and he crushed him.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. He lost to Danielson in the finals. Yeah. So Hangman's going back in. Ospreay has already announced it. I wouldn't be shocked if Jay White enters it. I feel like, because is it usually it's a 4-person tournament, right? Or is it do they go higher than that? Is it a 3-round tournament? They start at 8. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's
a 4-round tournament.
8. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's 4 and 4, and then
so I wouldn't be surprised if everybody that has been dealing with the Death Riders, even though It could be Swerve who's the champion by the time we get there. If Swerve beats him at Dynasty next month, I'm not sure. But I do feel like all the guys that have been hovering, like I do think Jay White gets in there. I do think obviously Ospreay and Hangman are in there. If Swerve loses at Dynasty, I could see Swerve getting in there.
Well, remember last week when we were talking about the prospects of Dictator John keeping the I think I'm just going to call him that now.
It's a great line.
Yeah. The prospects of Dictator John keeping the championship post Dynasty, the Owen should be
everybody
all of the people that
Yes.
have tried to take
Yeah.
the title.
I agree.
Or have problems with the Death Riders.
I agree. That's what I think. If John is still the champion, I think that is what the Owen should be on the men's side of it. I think the Owen should be all the guys that the Death Riders have screwed going back for another chance at Moxley.
Yeah.
And then I also feel like at All In, whether it is Ospreay or whoever they choose, if Moxley is still the champion, at All In, I do feel like it should be kind of an Avengers unite kind of thing. Like whoever that one guy is going to be, which I assume at this point, I would lean Ospreay.
Me too.
But I feel like Hangman should be the guy. But Darby could be involved. But if we wait until the Owen, it could be Darby as well. There could be multiple people.
Oh, the Owen is how Darby could win.
If you're waiting till the Owen, if Darby, that's how you get Darby in the title picture without having to. He just comes back and goes, "Oh, I owe John Moxley a receipt from way back when. I'm entering the Owen."
That's a good idea.
And then that's how you get Darby to even be in that match, maybe.
And by the way, remember I said last week, and I'm going to reiterate, the only way that I am okay with Dictator John keeping this title after Dynasty is if this exact thing happens. Because if it's not this exact thing, I don't know if we're going to have a firmly AEW in a little while, because I'm not going to want to watch this company anymore. So I cannot deal with it anymore. So Moxley post Dynasty, and then the Owen is Darby and Orange Cassidy and Will and Hangman and MJF and Swerve and two more people that I can't think of right now. Maybe Copeland and Jay White.
Cassidy? Yeah, Jay White, yeah.
Yes. Sign me up for that. And then we get the Avengers Endgame moment of everyone comes out to help the winner finally get the title away from the Death Riders.
Mm-hmm. I think that's how we roll.
There was also the Trios Championships. I don't know if anybody remembers those. Apparently are also with this group. And
not for long.
Actually, that's supposed to be defending them on Collision, I believe.
Against Adam Cole, right? Adam Cole and no, who are they going against?
No, they're going against Top Flight and
that's right. I'm not gonna remember. AR Fox? I don't know.
That might be right, actually. I think it's AR Fox. They're not gonna win. But what would be nice is if a team does beat them before All In.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even at All In, that's when that happens. So that All In could be like what I wanted WrestleMania 39 to be 2 years ago, which was the Usos lost the WWE Tag Team Championships night 1, and then Roman Reigns lost the Universal Undisputed Championship night 2. Mm-hmm. So if we could do like All In is the final death of the Death Riders, and all the titles come back, and we get to see them again, and they're not being held hostage by Dictator John, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
However, if it's not going to be that, just have Swerve win at Dynasty.
That'd be nice. We'll see. Swerve was not on this show tonight. During the world title match, they did show Prince Nana in the back watching. He was there, but Swerve was not. So, yeah. So then Then we had the world title match, which we talked at the beginning, so we can skip through all that because we already discussed that at length. We then had a backstage interview with Bandito. He was talking about what Chris Jericho did to Gravity at the Revolution pre-show. And he says, wrestling runs through my veins. I know the dangers and I can handle them, but what Jericho did to my brother, the very first AEW show that my sister and my mom were at, making them cry in front of him, I'll never forgive him for that. He says, so at Collision, I hope you show up, Jericho, like a man and give me my brother's mask back. And then Johnny TV rolled up and he said, who cares about your mother and your sister or your brother? Who gives a crap? He goes, why do you think you deserve to sit in the ring on TV on Slam Dunk Sunday? He goes, that's not going to draw any ratings. He goes, you know what's going to draw ratings? You versus me. That's ratings. And Bandito accepts. So because we have there's a Collision on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
and then there's one on Sunday also.
So starting today, actually, right around noon, is March Madness, which is obviously the big college basketball tournament every year, blah, blah, blah. And the first weekend, which is this weekend, there are games from noon to midnight, all day today, all day tomorrow, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And the Warner Brothers networks, TBS, TNT, CBS, True TV, they're the channels that show this whole tournament. So on Saturday, Collision, which they're calling it Slam Dunk Saturday and Slam Dunk Sunday. That's what they're calling it. So they're tying in the basketball reference to it. But basically what they're saying is we don't have a start time for this show. These shows are going to start whenever the basketball is over, which could mean they could start anytime, like at 11 o'clock, anytime. But they are doing two. So they're doing one on Saturday and one on Sunday, which I assume are going to be taped shows that they're just going to air.
They already taped the Sunday.
They did it last night? Okay.
Dynamite. Okay.
All right. So that's what it's going to be. This particular match, it sounds like, is going to be happening on the Sunday between Bandito and Johnny TV. He is.
Scott, yeah.
Yeah. Fernando, they don't have a choice. You know what's going to get more ratings than Collision? The March Madness basketball tournament. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. I agree with you. I don't think shows of AEW getting moved to special times or different things for other things is a good thing. I think it does mess with the ratings, but at the end of the day, they have a deal.
I understand the ratings. I mean, I don't really give a shit, but
it's arguably a top 5 sporting event every year. The March Madness tournament, the ratings are going to Collision is not going to come close.
That
yeah,
needs to be important, and that TBS and TNT and the Warner Media have decided we want 2 nights, not just one night.
Yeah,
we want 2 nights of this programming after basketball. That means something.
Of course.
So that.
Look, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying it's.
I'm not saying that you're.
Yeah.
I'm just like what Fernando is saying. Like the eyes. First of all, more people are going to be watching the basketball than Collision anyway. That's
without question.
A fact.
Without question. Not even close.
If you can get at least a quarter of that audience that watches basketball to leave their remotes somewhere and not know where it is, and then Collision is on right afterwards, and they go, oh, okay, maybe they could be a lapsed wrestling fan, or they could just be like, oh yeah, I know about wrestling, and oh, okay, and they see the intro to Collision, and they see Adam Copeland, and they see Chris Jericho, and they see John Moxley, and they're like, oh, those guys, okay, yeah, those guys were around the last time I watched. I feel like that would be that's what you want to grab somebody's attention, and they go, okay, well, let's see what's going on here, and maybe they don't tune in for the whole thing. Usually they don't, but it shows. Like, listen, I don't remember. There was one show of one company that was on after a major sporting event, and the ratings were incredible.
It was SmackDown. It was a SmackDown on Fox right after a big football game.
and it was like 4 million people were
Yeah.
watching at the start of that show, and
Yeah.
that's what a WWE would want, and that's what Fox would want because they're paying for WWE. So
Mhm.
you want more people, you want as many people as possible to see what they're paying for. So I think that they did the right thing here by having Collision now, and they even said, "Oh, Tony, we don't just want Collision on Saturday after basketball. We want Collision on Sunday after basketball as well."
It makes me feel like they're going to be. Yeah, I think what Scott said is right. Somebody asked, "Is it a 2-hour show?" No, they're splitting them up. I think they're just going to be quicker shows. I think it's an hour on Saturday and an hour on Sunday. So I think that's how they're doing them. Because the shows, listen, I've been watching March Madness my whole life. Those shows are not going to be starting until close to midnight. They're going to be late. Those shows are going to be late. And yeah, like that's just those last games on Saturday and Sunday should be ending anywhere between 10 and 11, most likely. So those shows are going to be late. And so I think doing an hour each night instead of just doing a 2-hour collision starting at midnight on Saturday, I think that's probably the way to go. And you can stretch it out to both nights. You have wrestling. You got your wrestling fans tuning in, maybe watching some of the basketball at the end of the night before wrestling, which I think they probably would want to. Yeah, I think it's a smart way to go about it. Now, you don't want it to be something that happens too often, which those weekend shows, they do get moved more often than not because of the sporting events. But at the end of the day, real sports, for the most part, is always going to trump pro wrestling when it comes to ratings and so it is what it is. But
Before we move on, there is
yeah.
something that I would like to address, and I hope that he's still here in the chat. Happy birthday, Spencer. Everybody please give our boss Spencer love.
Yeah, it is
A
that
happy
day.
birthday.
It is that day. It is that day. The special day. Do we know how old? I don't want to.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just saw in our Slack, Zach put a funny picture of Spencer up, but it was very funny. So happy birthday, Spencer.
It is that day. What a gent. What a gent. He is the boss man, but he's also a great friend to all of us here. And today is his day. So I don't know if he just popped in for a little bit to say hello and he has already left for the day. I'm sure hopefully he doesn't have to work all day and he has some wonderful plans for the day. And by part of those plans, I mean, he's in the chat for B2B 200 tonight. But happy birthday to the boss man. Happy birthday. Drew, why'd you do that? I was going to send him a nice message after this. Anyway, I'm still going to, but now it's cat's out of the bag. So as we move on this, no, it's okay. As we move on this show, we got a good little quick one-on-one match between Will Ospreay and AR Fox. This was good, fast-paced, back and forth as you would expect. But Will Ospreay wins with the hidden blade. It was a good little spot. AR Fox went for a 450 and face planted on the mat as Will Ospreay got out of the way.
Looked great.
He's excellent. He's so good. He's so good. He's like
I've been a fan of his for years.
Yeah, he's been very good for a very, very, very long time.
I saw him regularly in the Evolve loop.
Yeah, he's
the
tremendous.
Original Evolve loop.
Yeah, he is. He's tremendous. He's very, very good. So Will Ospreay wins that. Short but good. I would agree, Fernando. And then we have Renee Paquette backstage with Mercedes Mone. Renee then says, that could be true, Brandon. I would not be shocked. Hammerstone ended his, he's not with TNA anymore. MJF and Hammerstone were a group together on the Indies, I believe, in the New York area. Wouldn't be shocked if Hammerstone was brought in by MJF to be Muscle, kind of an Wardlow.
And I think Richard Holiday
situation.
as well.
Richard Holiday as well, I believe. He's done some AEW dark match and, kind of extra work here or there. But Richard Holiday, that guy is a fucking star. You want to bring him in too? Like, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So maybe MJF doesn't join the Hurt Syndicate. He gets his own little group again and he brings in some of his boys. He could. But we have an interview with Mercedes Mone. Renee says, hey, before we dive into this, like, talk about Billie Starkz and kind of the fight that, she gave you tonight. And Mercedes puts Billie over, kind of. She goes, hey, Billie Starkz, put up a fight. Put up a fight. That kid's got a lot of heart. She goes, but it takes more than heart to beat me. And then this is where it gets, they're kind of leaning into it, Drew. Because she goes, she goes, I don't know, but whoever trained her knows nothing about pro wrestling. And Mercedes goes, if I had trained Billie, maybe she would have won. Actually, no, she couldn't have won because there's no stopping the money train. So she leans in. She says, whoever trained Billie Starkz knows nothing about pro wrestling. Now, in Ring of Honor for the last year and a half, however long it's been, Billie Starkz has been a minion of one Athena, the long-reigning Ring of Honor World Women's Champion. And Athena has been the mentor / bully / boss of Billie Starkz for the better part of the last year and a half there. They've had a couple they've had a match against, they've had some whatever. But clearly they are continuing to lean into this because at All In Texas, we are 1,000% getting Athena and Mercedes Mone. It might even happen before then. But it feels like at All In Texas, Mercedes Mone versus Athena is just it. It's not even a question of if it's going to happen. It is going to happen, Drew. Are you getting broken into?
No, I think there's a bird on my air conditioner.
All right, well, what the hell does that have to do with anything we're talking about right now?
It just was distracting me.
Jesus Christ.
You don't hear that?
No. Why would I hear that?
Very loud. It's loud. I thought maybe.
Why would I hear that? Go shoo the bird out of there. Tell him to go piss off. We're busy. So, yeah, so they're leaning into Mercedes and Athena, saying that Athena doesn't know anything about pro wrestling. Now, do we think that this happens before All In? Because All In is not until like June or July. And we have Dynasty. Right. We have Double or Nothing.
Well, she is a Texas gal.
She is, which is why I think All In is where it does happen. I think it happens at All In. But there's a lot of time between now and All In. So, I don't know. But it's happening. Athena's on her way. Athena versus Mercedes is happening soon. And I cannot wait for it. Sandy, what's going on? How we doing, my friend? I can't wait for it. But yeah, I'm excited for it. And clearly now that Mercedes is starting to reference it and dive in a little behind the scene. Oh, yeah. No, they don't know anything about pro. It's happening, Drew, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Same.
And then we had our main event. And our main event was another women's match. You could call this a women's meet match. Two of the bigger, stronger ladies. Toni Storm was on commentary for this. It was Chris Statlander going one-on-one with Megan Bayne. And these two had an excellent match, Drew. This was a very good match between Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander. Back and forth, a lot of showing the power. A couple deadlift back suplexes over the ropes by Megan Bayne at one point, which was incredible. They're going back and forth, German suplexes, very suplex heavy. Fernando, I think AEW has done a great job since she's gotten there, but specifically over the last like 2 to 3 weeks. I think they've done a great job of making Megan Bayne look like a legitimate top of the division star here. And this match was spectacular. You keep on having her have matches like this where she comes out on top like this. This is how you do that. This is how you do it. And, she attacked Toni last week when Toni kind of opened the challenge up to the whole roster. Megan Bayne did not wait around. She got right out there and took Toni out. Mm-hmm. She has this match. Toni is on commentary. At one point when they're on the outside, Megan Bayne kind of threw Statlander into Toni, and then she hit the what does she call it? Fate's Descent. She hit Fate's Descent on the outside to Statlander. Then she yelled at Toni, "Watch this!" and brought her back in the ring, hit another Fate's Descent, and got the cover 1, 2, 3, kind of showing off a little bit in front of Tony. Like, yeah, I'm coming for you. Like, I am
a fan.
Yes. So Megan Bayne wins the match, a very good match. Chris Statlander is just so good. Megan Bayne is leaving. Toni Storm gets in the ring. Well, before she gets in the ring, she's standing on top of the desk and she's taping her right hand up. Like, hey, I'm ready to fight. So she gets in the ring. Her and Megan Bayne exchange blows. They're just punching each other. They're brawling. Security and referees swarm them. They separate. Toni breaks free. She hits a lariat to Megan Bayne, sends her to the outside. And as Megan Bayne is kind of being separated in the ramp area, Toni grabs a mic and she says, "Man, you are one big bitch." They pop the crowd. And then Toni does what Toni does. And she goes, I've always said, the bigger they are, the harder they come. And she goes, and I think it's time that we get tantric. And she goes, and she goes, I keep seeing you looking at my title, but you don't have much to say. She goes, so let me just say this. We have a date at Dynasty. And she goes, this is the quote here. I'll make your thighs shake, your body quake, and and she holds up the belt and she goes, and I'll be leaving with this strap on. Because I'm Toni Storm and I'm going to rip your tits off. And that's it. That's how the show ended, Drew.
So I know that I said that it was better that there was less talking, but
no, Toni Storm can talk all night. She can talk all night. I'm good with
it.
The sexual innuendos that she was saying at the table with Toni, I didn't write them down as I should have. I should have written them down. But like she was just giving zingers at the table. They couldn't
stop.
No.
They were laughing. They had to.
Toni and Taz specifically. Excalibur's trying to be a goddamn professional. And he's trying to call the match. And Toni and Taz are just being old, perverted men. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. They were fine. But Toni is obviously leaning in. Toni Storm, not Tony Schiavone. Toni Storm is obviously leaning in with these sexual innuendos, talking about dick size, talking about sex, talking about all these things the way that she does. And you have these two men, Taz and Tony Schiavone, that can't keep it straight. Like they're trying to stay in character and they're just cracking up because it's just a thing of beauty. It's just a thing of beauty. And it's just like, oh man, it's so good. It's so good. And then she gets on the mic and she cuts a promo like this and just the whole sexual nature of it.
Incredible.
It's just so good. It's so good. She's just allowed the way she does things and the way she says some of this stuff. Like not everybody would be able to do it the way that she does it. And I think it just speaks to how good she is as a whole. I feel you saying in the non-commercial feed, Toni said she wasn't afraid of anyone named Bane because she breaks her back every night.
She is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I want to throw this out there to you. I think Megan Bayne should beat Toni Storm for that title at Dynasty.
I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that AEW has done a tremendous job with Megan Bayne since she has shown up. And I think her being in this position to immediately go for the title is exactly what should be happening. And I think you have a chance to legitimately make her a star immediately. She doesn't have to hold the belt for a year. But I think her, and this was floated out to me and we had talked about it because I got to be on the Mark Order pod a couple weeks ago. and I was there with Kate. And Kate threw this out. She said, "Hey, what do you think if they all of a sudden like hotshotted Megan Bayne to like win the title?" And I was like, wasn't thinking of that, but I think that would be a tremendous thing for them to do because it would immediately cement her as a focal point of the division. It would immediately make her a star because she's only been there for like a little over a month. She has not been there a long time. She already looks the part. She comes out for her entrance and with the headdress and all of it, and you're like, who is this?
Looks like a goddess.
Yes, yes, and she's a monster of a woman. She's strong. She's big. She's fast. She's agile. I think that they should pull the trigger and she should beat Toni Storm.
I agree. I actually agree.
Yeah.
And as much as the story with Toni and Mariah was excellent, they're doing this. This might be in the company's history. This may be. I alluded to this last week also. I think this is the best follow-up to a major women's match at a pay-per-view that the company has ever done.
Yeah. Yeah.
An immediate threat established. Immediate.
Yeah. Agreed.
Going immediately after the champion, dominating the division. 100% Megan Bayne could win at Dynasty, and I'd be totally fine with that.
Yep. And then you have this massive, powerful, dominant heel champion. And if she runs through the division for a few months, and then you're building to whoever that babyface star that's going to finally beat this powerful, nobody can beat Megan Bayne. And then you build to that person that eventually does, whether it is a Toni again, or it's somebody new, someone that is, hey, maybe it is like, Mercedes and Athena happens. Athena beats Mercedes for the TBS title. She's on AEW now. Then we start to do Mercedes as a babyface going after big bad Megan Bayne.
Oh,
for the heavyweight title. Something you can do. Again, there's plenty of other women on the roster as well, but like that's something you could. There's ways to go about it, but I think if you really want to cement Megan Bayne as like someone that matters immediately, I think hotshotting her with that belt at Dynasty, I think that is a strong, strong way to do it. Because I think that they've really knocked this out of the park with Megan Bayne, and I'm very much looking forward to this match with her and Toni at Dynasty. I think they have a chance to do something special with Megan Bayne if they want to do it. And I don't think Toni losing that match hurts Toni at all.
No.
At all.
Her character is so special that she doesn't even need the title.
I agree.
To be over. She will be over and cheered regardless.
Yeah, I fully agree. But that was AEW Dynamite. A good show, I thought. A lot of good wrestling, whether it was because half the roster wasn't there because of the weather, whatever. But the matches were good. The matches were long. I thought that there were some intriguing story elements that happened on this show as well. I thought it was a solid Dynamite. And that's going to be it for us, kind of wrapping up firmly AEW today, Drew. Anything else that we didn't talk about from Collision or that we maybe glossed over too quickly that you wanted to talk about as far as AEW went? Oh, Asian Joe, fully agree with you. Fully agree. I thought it was one of the better shows they've had in a while. And I thought the women were...
Joe went to that show, right?
He is a Nebraska boy. Were you there? Were you there, Joe? Did you trek through the weather?
I think I remember Ryan saying that you were going, but I don't know if you were able to make it because of the weather.
Yeah, I didn't know if the weather would have prevented you from going, but Joe seems like a guy that he would have found his way. He would have found a way to get there. But yeah, I think we hit everything. Oh, you did go. The weather got better an hour before the show time. Beauty. Okay. There it is. Yeah, because I was going to say, when they showed Mox walking, it wasn't snowing. It looked like it was cold, and it was very cold and snowy, but it wasn't like snowing out. The weather looked clear, at least. Yeah, anything else we need to discuss AEW-wise? Did we hit everything? Collision was another pretty decent show on Saturday, I thought.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything like crazy happening on Collision.
No.
Swerve got attacked.
That was the big thing.
Swerve got attacked, which was kind of the big thing. But other than that, I don't really remember anything on Collision that needed
Ricochet
to be.
and Shibata had a great match.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's about
Knew
it.
that Ricochet was going to win though, but
yeah,
it was still a great match when they were sitting down and they were slapping each other and everything.
Yeah.
It was a good
What
match.
a spot.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it, Drew. I think that's it.
No, Scott, we don't have to get into that again.
No.
I've wasted my my energy on that.
Yeah. Listen. It was about time Drew had a rant. So,
trust me, there's other things I could rant about, but I don't. But that was something. If somebody please could clip that and send it to Tony Khan, I will be thankful. I'd be very thankful because it's something that I've wanted to tell Tony Khan for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't really talk about ratings or viewership, Brandon, but yeah, Collision actually did do a good number this weekend. They were up over 400,000, which is a good number for Collision. And you got to hope that this weekend with the college basketball leading in, we have another good thing. But Drew and I, we are not big viewership ratings people. At the end of the day, I could care less about that. It's whether I like the show or not. That's what I care about. Fernando, we did talk about that. That is 100% going to happen. Sooner than later, I think at All In, we're getting FTR versus Copeland and Christian. I think that's what we're getting at All In. I think that will be something we head towards.
I would like it to be that Kip and Nick did that alone under maybe the direction of Mother Wayne, as you had said before, that it kind of looked like she was the one that was calling the shots.
Last night, it looked like at least like she was the one that was like calling the shots because Christian
and they were all doing it because of how upset Christian was. But then Christian comes back and it's like, I didn't tell you guys to do that.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. Yeah, don't worry about you. Do things when I tell you when to do things, and then it kind of creates a further discord. And then maybe they take out Christian, and that's how you lead to sympathetic babyface Christian, I guess, because he is obviously a monster heel. But if they attack Christian,
Fernando,
it was my idea.
Thank me.
But we'll see when we get there. We got a little bit of time before we get to All In, and by a little bit of time, I mean a lot of time. But we have a couple weeks only until Dynasty, so we expect the next couple weeks to be raring up to get a full card built for AEW Dynasty in a few weeks. Oh, you're good, Fernando. Just make sure you get. No, I'm just kidding. Drew, do your thing. Promote your stuff. Let people know where they can find you, and then we'll say our goodbyes, and we will get up on out of here.
At the Drew Nicholas on Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm on Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast most Wednesdays nights after Dynamite for trivia, and we're starting a GM series. We started it my GM series last Friday
on the video game.
Check that out.
Are you like a real life thing? Or are you talking like WWE 2K25? You're doing
WWE.
Yeah.
So that was fun. We started that last Friday, and we're doing that every Friday. So come join us there and follow Firmly LW on Twitter as well. That's our show's Twitter account. We are starting to get a little bit more active there. I'm posting polls, and I'm enjoying some interaction from that. So I will do more of those. And that's it for me.
Hell yeah. All right. You guys know, like Drew just said, every Tuesday and Thursday you can find him and me here. Firmly Love Wrestling. We talk AEW on Thursdays. We talk WWE on Tuesdays. Got a busy day today. Tonight, 8 p.m. You know the drill. Me, Pluggo, the flagship show here at Love Wrestling, Between Two Beards. And tonight is not just any old Between Two Beards. Tonight is episode 200 of Between Two Beards. So come on by, join Pluggo and I. We got a lot to talk about all across the world of wrestling. We're going to reminisce. Right now, we have no guests booked. We're just doing the two-man weave like it all started with Pluggo and I for episode 200. But we might have some friends popping in to say hello here or there. You never know. At episode 100, we had surprises. Not even ours were planned, but people were popping in. We had all sorts of things planned. So we hope that you all come and hang out with us tonight for episode 200. It should be a fun, special one this evening. But before that, at 6 p.m. Eastern time, Pluggo and I will be joining our friends on the On the Mark podcast for a little Road to WrestleMania talk. We have been trying to, they do their shows on Thursday nights, which obviously is the same night that Pluggo and I do our shows. So we've been kind of talking about, they wanted us on the show for a bit. How can we make this work? They decided to move their show up a little earlier tonight. So it's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Pluggo and I are going to be hopping over there. Follow at B2Beards on Twitter or my personal account or Pluggo's. We'll promote it. The link will be there. So we're going to be doing that, talking a little Road to WrestleMania at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then 8 p.m. Eastern. Pluggo and I will be here, right here on Love Wrestling, doing the 200th episode thing. Spencer, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I was going to send you a nice message after this. I'm still going to. But Drew spilled the beans to everybody.
Yes, we wish you happy birthday before. I don't know if you're happy.
Yes. So happy birthday, boss. We hope you have plans, a wonderful day of plans. Hopefully we'll see you in the chat or even on screen tonight for 200. But it's your birthday, so we understand if you got family plans, friends plans. But we hope that you enjoy the day and you have yourselves a big birthday. I don't want to say his age publicly, but I think it might be a big one. Or maybe he had a big one last year. A big round number. I'm not sure. But anyway, you can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming everywhere else. MLB The Show just came out last week. So we have been grinding hard over on the Twitch almost every day, playing some of that. That game's a lot of fun. Ancient, brother. I'm like 10 years older than you. So, 33. I thought you turned 30 last year.
My age?
I thought you turned 30 last year, but that must have been the first year that I met you. God damn, my timing of everything is just. Maybe when I met you, you had just turned 30. I thought you were like 31. Son of a bee. Well, I'm going to be 40 this year, so all of you can go fuck off. So anyway, on that note, I love everybody. I love everybody. Drew and I will be back here on Tuesday for some more Firmly WWE. You all better be here tonight at 8 p.m. for episode 200 of Between Two Beards. If I don't see you, I will take it personally, and I will rag on every single one of you on Tuesday. Understood? That's an order. That's an order. All right. Everybody have a good rest of your Thursday on this first day of spring, on this Spencer Love birthday. Everyone enjoy their day. Thank you for all the participation in the chat. We appreciate you guys as always. For Drew, for myself, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday. Till then, you know the drill. Peace out.
Trap battle!